following show, Conversations with Edigga, does not reflect the views of Charm City Direct TV. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Conversations with Edigga, where insightful dialogues unfold. Join host Edigga as he dives into captivating discussions with music artists, entrepreneurs, and visionaries from around the world. Get ready to explore diverse perspectives, gain valuable insights, and be inspired. This is Conversations with Edigga.
Come on, yeah. All right, y'all.
That is right. That is right. It is another great episode of, I was about to say another show. You see what I'm saying? It's a lot. Conversations with Edigga. I am your host, the man that you all know and love, Edigga. Let's go. Yes. First and foremost, shout out to you, the people that are watching, the people that are going to watch and come in. And shout out to our sister station, which is this show is all about right now. It is WLEO 26.7 online radio, worldwide listening, entertainment online. Make sure you check it out because we got some stuff coming your way, and I'm excited, as you can tell. The new show, Gospel Vibrations, is coming to WLEO 26.7 online radio. What can I say? You know me, got to bring in the host of the show, Mr. Melvin Jordan. He is here. And you know how I get. I start talking, I get all excited. I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to bring him in. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Melvin Jordan. Yes.
Thank you very much for a rousing introduction, Edigga. It's a pleasure to be here with you on this day. So
Yes.
I appreciate you bringing me on and telling the people a little bit about me and, things that I do.
That's what's up. I'm excited, man, because, the world of radio has always been fascinating to me, whether it was FM, AM, or online radio. And when I was introduced to online radio, it was nothing that I imagined because I'm thinking, you had to be in a plush, laid out studio. You had to, the whole microphones and the speakers and all that. Man, you could do this in the comforts of your own home, man. And that's what I was introduced to. I didn't know it was that easy. And I said, hey, let's go. I'm ready to do this. And so with some research, trying to find the right platform, WLEO 26.7 online radio was born. And I had played around with it for a while, and I said, "Hey, why not just make it, official and put it out there?" So,
Well,
Mr. Jordan, I want to say thank you first of all for taking me up on my offer to join our family with your show, Gospel Vibrations. And I want you to tell the people out there a little bit about you and a little bit about the show.
well, it's just interesting that you talked about the online radio. I've been a veteran in this radio industry, terrestrial or digital. We don't say internet.
Right. Right.
Terrestrial or digital for like the last 18 years.
Mm,
Um, I've been a DJ, or as I always say, I've been an entertainer for the last 40 because I started DJing when I was about 11, 12 years old.
wow. That's
So,
what's up.
music has been in my DNA almost since the exception because my mother, my parents, they played music all the time.
Hmm.
So once the music started to change in like the late '90s, early 2000s,
Right.
from the DJ circuit, I decided to move in another direction. But the funny part about it is, when I was young, was that somebody must be talking about me.
Right.
But
That's all. I thought I was the only one, man.
but when I was young in my hometown of Fort Myers, Florida, I was always fascinated with the radio station. And I said one day that I was going to be on the radio. I just only wanted to do it once. Okay, so finally, when that opportunity came, it's been 18 years going into the 19th year of being as a radio personality
Right.
um, on radio. I mean, I do
Right.
other things. I'm an owner myself, a couple stations, and it's been an amazing ride um, in the radio business. Some highs, some lows, some blood, sweat, and tears, as
Right.
you know.
Right.
You know, especially when it started coming in on the digital end, which I came into digital in 2012, kind of like full time.
Hmm.
Actually, I take that back. 2008, when the internet age with radio started to evolve. So
Mm.
I was in at the beginning. I even did blog talk radio.
Right.
So I'm almost like way in the back because the first terrestrial station I was on, it was a community station, but they folded for a lot of different reasons we won't
Okay.
discuss. But I want to continue in this industry. So like I said, it's been a road of tears and
Hmm.
maybe cause some failed relationships because when you're in love with music, and not to say that you can't diverse from what you're doing, but once you're in that zone and you're there,
Hmm.
that's what you want.
Right.
So yeah, but thank you though. I mean, yeah, just like you, I can go on all day. I don't want to bore the people, but
Right.
maybe one day you can read the book, the Melvin Jordan story. It's coming soon to you.
Okay. Okay.
But no, I'm just been grateful to being able to have longevity, especially from the digital end.
Right.
I mean, so like I said, I've couple stations, digital, couple radio shows, one the Heavy Storm, Quiet Storm, the best quiet storm show in the world, which I'm not here to promote that. But it started gospel vibrations because once the people started picking up, or the station started picking up the Heavy Storm, Quiet Storm, I'm all over. And digital was like, okay, you cross this boundary, this station crossed this one,
Right.
you're all over the world.
Right. Right.
So God was like, okay, you're establishing yourself, but you have to give me some adulation because it was because of me that put you in these positions because he gave me the abilities to do the things that I do when it came to radio. I mean, I
Right.
never went to a music school, as they say.
Hmm.
It was just God given, insight of what picking up on things and seeing things and just working it out.
Right.
So with that, it was like he was telling me, he was like, just give me an hour. Because at the time, the heavy storm, quiet storm was like 4 hours. Then I trimmed it down to three, now it's to two. But if you just give me 1 hour a week to spotlight or give me praise, you know, I said, okay, God, you're right. Because, at that time, phones blowing up 24/7, people inboxing me, getting emails, because of the other show. I said, I can't help but give you that show. So with
Mhm.
that show being born, it was a little tough. I mean, some of the established stations that I was on with the other show, they took it because of the quality, of my handiwork.
Right.
But, as far as expanding it at the beginning, there was a lot of people that said maybe I need to stay in my lane. But I'm just following what God was telling me to do.
Right.
So
Right.
now with your station, you know, we've amassed a nice following around the world, just like the other shows. So the
That's what's
gospel vibrations is the fastest 60 minutes on gospel radio,
right.
where you can
Right.
be uplifted, inspired, and encouraged. Through the inspirational sounds of gospel, and you also receive an encouraging word of the day coming from yours truly. So I'm excited about where God is taking this show, and I don't know where this video is going to go, but pretty soon I maybe retiring from secular music because I enjoy doing gospel. This is what I was born to do. Also, I'm gonna I'm an ordained vessel of the gospel, which titles don't mean anything to me. It's about getting the word of God out, regardless of whatever means, not any bad means, but whatever you got to do. So if this music is going to inspire somebody and bring them to the Lord, this is what it's going to do.
That's
This is
what's up.
what we do. So yeah.
That's what's up. I like that. I too, like you, Melvin, I been around couple, couple of studios here in Baltimore.
Hmm.
Started out with the Charm City Direct radio show.
Hmm.
Um, and took that show to a couple of stations, internet radio, or as you would call it, traditional,
Digital.
digital, digital. And I real passionate. I'm still passionate about radio. But I was even more passionate about doing my show. Do not mess with my show. And a couple of stations, they loved it, they embraced it. Some really didn't. Uh, and then I went to one station. To this day, I give them praise. Be Exposed Radio. Shout out to Be Exposed Radio. And that station acted like a actual radio station. You
Mhm.
come in, there's a format, there's a engineer that's controlling your show, and you have total control to input all the bells and whistles of an actual radio station. And I love them for that, you know. And then I said, hey, I'm tired of doing the radio. I'm tired of going to all of these stations. And so I branched off to Charm City Direct TV, where it's more visual. But I always had the idea of doing my own radio, an online radio station, and that's where WLEO. I am a Leo,
Yeah.
and my birthday is 7/26, so it's just the numbers backwards, so it's 26.7, and
Well,
that's where it was born.
it's kind of interesting you said that because once I started to syndicate shows,
Hmm.
um, and I'm sure this will be a whole topic for a whole nother show. Every program director, whether it's terrestrial or digital, might not have the same passion that you do.
Yeah.
So with me and my stations, I do have guidelines to where, okay, please have the show in a couple days ahead of time, this and that or whatever. And,
Hmm.
you never know what I may be up to,
Right.
but
Right.
that is the reason why I started, one of the reasons why I started, because I was like, okay, I'm just cool syndicating. Once you're promoting someone else station, just like I do WLEO 2647, you know, you're letting the people know, okay, you can find me here, or you can find me there at this certain time. So it got to a point where I'm promoting you and, I'm sending people your way, but it makes me look bad when they turn on at the time. And I'm like, people are like, well, where are you? I thought you were going to be here. So
Mhm.
that's where I decided to take matters in my own hands, just like you did.
Yeah, yeah. I was just to the point where I I left radio, or I didn't leave radio. I just left going to other people's stations
Hmm.
because you're right. You got to promote. You got to promote. You got to advertise. But I wasn't the station. You have to go to the station to hear the show,
Right.
and I'm a firm believer of that. But when I was doing it, it was like we'll get mentioned every now and then, you know.
Hmm.
And I said, nah, I want to change that, but I also want to be able to be a person to advertise or promote others. So everybody that comes to me, um, that I'm a firm believer of, let's get the word out, about the shows that's on the station. And if you have, stations within stations and stuff, I I'll promote, regardless,
Well,
and that's what it's all about.
well, the thing is this. I mean, and this is just a general practice. You don't promote your product. Just say, for instance, I have, some nice flowers and
Mhm,
they're organic and they do this and they do that. But
mhm.
how can anybody know what your product is about when you're not promoting it?
Right,
So
right.
got to the point with me because once I started my own, you know, I can't just promote me or I'm gonna get to the point where I was gonna make.
Mhm,
But even when you syndicate, you know, my philosophy is okay, yes, I have my own, but if I'm on other stations, I have to promote them. Even if I do it once a week, they just go to the roll call. Some
mhm,
personalities, once they get the blow of smoke on them and they feel that they've arrived because you get a couple comments here and there,
mhm,
they start to have a favoritism type attitude toward one station, or, I'm just going to keep a spade a spade. Or, your head kind of fills up because maybe this station owner is saying this, but the other one ain't saying anything. And you kind of tend to favor one or the other,
mhm,
So, I mean, you really can't do that. So, if I'm on with the other show that I have, like 45 stations and Gospel Vibrations, which is coming to you here real soon, you made number 31 for that one. So
mhm,
I can't, even if I've had a station in Stockholm, Sweden, which has been with me almost since the inception, that averages about 100,000 people on Thursday.
mm,
But I can't put them above anybody else. I'm just saying, well, hey, times are changing, or you have different times where you can check things out, then you can go to either one of these stations here. I'm glad that you, as yourself at WLEO, decided to make gospel vibrations a part of your home. So I would
right.
never slight any of the stations that air me because I was sitting in my hometown on an FM station that was a community broadcast 3 miles east unidirectional. And I'm wondering, will anybody ever hear me? I was
Right,
trying to do
right,
small. So yeah.
right, right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about gospel vibrations for a minute. What brought about the show? How did you start the show? What prompted you to start the show?
Well, to go back to what I said earlier, with the success of the other show, giving God praise, at least for an hour a week.
Right.
You know, okay, yeah, you can hear me 3 hours or this place, that place, but here is this right here. So it's more of, giving God tribute or giving God praise and thanks for him expanding my territory in the radio industry. So,
Right.
you know, there's just a lot of things that we do during the week, but we ain't giving God praise, but he makes it all possible for us to make some things happen, even in this radio industry. So
Right.
it's 60 minutes of uplifting gospel music. Sometimes the formats change. I mean, maybe contemporary gospel, then I may go back and give you an old school show.
Mm.
I let the spirit lead me to where it needs to be. And a lot of times I'll sit down and, okay, God, where you want me to go with this? And he'll give me a playlist. So, when we come to WLEO, 2 o'clock on Sundays, starting on the 19th, send the date of that. But coming soon, WLEO. But yeah, you never know what you may encounter. Also, I do have, different walks of life, ministers, pastors, inspirational leaders, anything that can inspire the people or anything that the information that the people need to know, on a global scale, then, you never know what's going to happen. So, I know people, there's always debate of the gospel of the debate. And I don't want to, listen to your show if it's old school gospel or the wade in the water type stuff. Well, you never know, with me. Or I've heard a pastor the other day talk, he criticized, I shouldn't have used that word, but he was saying that the new gospel of today is not what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
It was like, how can you even consider that music? Well, I'm gonna need to come up with the Lutheran music. But my point is this, and maybe I'll tell them how I feel. Whatever it needs to, whatever needs to take place in
Hmm.
order to reach someone
Hmm.
in Christ. So if the music may have a secular beat and doesn't, and these are my views.
Hmm.
The music is gonna catch everybody.
Hmm.
You know, so if the music's going to catch you and the words are appropriate to where it's uplifting the Almighty, great. I'm happy for Kirk Franklin. He kind of changed the game.
Hmm.
So I don't know if, and in this day and age, and I ain't knocking the old school hymns because there's some days I'll be singing. I'm going to my other occupation, or
Right.
there may be a time where I may be going through some things, but I feel that if it catches, and especially the younger people or all ages, and they're able to adapt and be like, okay, if this is what it needs to be brought in into their lives to get them to Christ, then I'm all for it. Now, I might not be into the gospel rap as much. I'll just
Hmm.
be honest with you with that.
Hmm.
Some of it's cool and some of it's all right.
Right.
But this is me talking. So I don't need nobody sending me no messages after this interview. But I'm just I'm just speaking. I mean, as an evangelist of the gospel, a vessel of the gospel, myself, whatever is needed to reach the people. People say you still talk to your old friends because like I said, I'm an anointed vessel, or ordained vessel.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't change me. I'm still going to be Melvin. And for the people that knew me before I came really deep into the church, yeah, I wasn't no bad person, but at the same time, I did my thing.
Right.
So those people, I knew those people,
Right.
and they may need a word from me. So no, I'm not going to change the way that I look at people just because I'm in a pulpit. I don't really need a pulpit because
Right.
every day that you walk, you are a walking vessel to inspire somebody or to witness somebody.
There you go. Right there. Hey, we're gonna pay some bills right quick. Coming back more with my special guest, the host of Gospel Vibrations, Mr. Melvin Jordan. And when we come back, we're going to tell people how they can listen, how they can tune in, all that good stuff. Hey, this is Conversations with Edigga. Don't go nowhere. Much more to come. 26.7 online radio, worldwide listening, entertainment online. Find us on social media on Facebook at WLEO 26.7 online radio, on Instagram at WLEO_267 online radio, and on the internet at WLEO267onlineradio.com.
Want to host your own radio show? Are you a DJ looking for a place to showcase your skills? Contact us today at WLEO267radio@gmail.com. We've got a spot for you.
Baltimore's newest social media online network. By real people, for real people. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/CharmCityDirectTV, YouTube at CharmCityDirectTV, and IG at Charm_City_DirectTV. Charm City Direct TV. We are the heartbeat of the city.
And welcome back to the show. If you're just tuning in, this is Conversations with Edigga and my special guest, Mr. Melvin Jordan. He is the host of Gospel Vibrations, new show coming to WLEO 26.7 online radio starting next week, May 19th at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you are in the house. You are ready to receive that good music, all of that good stuff. Hey, Melvin, thank you for coming on to the show. But before we go, you know what you got to do. You got to tell people everywhere how they can tune in, how they can listen to the show, and also tell people out there about your station, how they could tune into your other shows as well.
Well, as they say,
Well,
you can check me out every Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WLEO 267 online radio.com, where we'll give you nothing but the best in gospel music, 60 minutes, the fastest 60 minutes on gospel radio today, and which is God's show, or I call it the GB. So you can hear it there. If you want to connect with me via the social networks, simple, you can, and I'm not going to say Google me, but yeah, you can hashtag Melvin Jordan 71 on your Google site, and it'll take you pretty much everything about me. We also have the podcast listings under Melvin Jordan 71. So just hashtag Melvin Jordan 71 in your Google search. If you want to check out my two stations, which I call Legend Radio Network, which is Legend 107 Radio, which has been around since 2012, actually before then, and Legend 107 Gospel. We're on the same platform, all on the same website. You can go to www.lrnradio.com. That's lrnradio.com, which Legend 107 is more of a smooth jazz, kind of a easy listen.